All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Take Command of Your Online Reputation, presented by the Better Business Bureau of Upstate New York. Many thanks to our presenters, Lauren Kirchman and Melanie McGovern, for being with us today, and all participants who have joined in, and to our educational sponsor, Chemung Canal Trust Company. Please note this webinar is being recorded to share what we learn with the business community. Lauren and Melanie will share their presentation with you, then follow with time for questions and discussion. Please use the chat to submit any questions during the presentation. And just a reminder, when others are speaking, to please keep your audio on mute to minimize background noise. With that said, I'll turn things over to Melanie and Lauren to start things off.
Well, good morning, and thank you guys so much for having us. I remember 2 or 3 years ago, I actually came to visit you guys and did this presentation. So it's not the same presentation if you were here with us the last time. I see, you should have told me to advance the slide because I missed the housekeeping slide. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Melanie McGovern. That is my pre-pandemic headshot. My hair is down to here now. I'm the communications director for Better Business Bureau of Upstate New York. I've been with the organization. It'll be 7 years in March. In my role, I do work a lot with our businesses to help them manage their online reputation. We're a Grow with Google partner, so we work with Google to help our businesses with their Google presence as well, because let's be honest, it's the first place people go. So it's very important that everybody knows what they should be doing there. So I've had a lot of experience in presenting this topic. I'm going to turn it over to Lauren to give a brief introduction of herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Kirschmeyer. I'm the Marketing and Outreach Coordinator at Better Business Bureau of Upstate New York. Through my role, I manage our social media accounts. So we have a Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Our YouTube, we just started kind of revamping, so I'm excited that we're back on that channel. I also do a lot of communication with our chambers and with our business members as well. Go to a lot of trade shows when we're in a non-pandemic world. And that is also my pre-pandemic headshot. My hair is now actually red and I've lost about 20 pounds. So we'll have to get those updated when the pandemic is over, but excited to be presenting with you today.
Always a pleasure to present this information. Every time we do this, I learn from Lauren, Lauren learns from me, and hopefully you guys will learn from both of us. So we are one of 2 Better Business Bureaus in New York State. The blue is our service area. The gray is BBB serving Metropolitan New York. We do partner with them for webinars, so keep your eye out for those. We do share those with the chamber to let you guys know about webinars that are coming up. This is just a quick shot of our website, which is ever evolving, and we're working on changes that are coming this year. We've got a big meeting on Friday. I'm very excited to let people know what's going on. So when we redid our website, I think it was 4 years ago, the biggest thing that people asked for was finding a business, filing a complaint, and leaving a review. So when you go to bbb.org, that's what you'll see, and it's targeted to your geolocation. So I did this screenshot while I was sitting in the office. So that's why it says Gettysville, New York. But it's just easier for people to find everything they need when they go to bbb.org. Lauren, I don't know if you want to go through the other services that we have for the community.
Sure. There's a lot of different services that we provide for you as a consumer. The first is advertising review. So we have a team of people who look at advertisements of businesses, especially accredited businesses, to make sure that there's not any false advertising going out there to the community. That was one of the reasons BBB was founded in the first place, was because of false advertising that was happening in, I believe, the 1920s. So it's something that we care about, that people are telling the truth to their consumers. We also have a scam tracker. If you go to bbb.org/scam tracker, there's an interactive map. You can see what scams are happening in your area. You can narrow it down by keyword, by date as well. And it's an interactive map, so you can zoom in and zoom out. And there's a lot of information that's provided to you there. BBB investigations. So if there are a lot of scams, for example, that pop up on Scam Tracker, there's an investigation that is created, and we share that information with consumers in a big document that's full of ways to spot the scam, ways to help you prevent yourself from falling for the scam, and different resources for you. We have a charity review program as well, which is very similar to what we do with the businesses, except it's a little bit more on the side of how often does your board meet? How much do your employees get paid? How much of your money actually goes to the organization that you're supporting? So there's 20 different standards that charities need to meet in order to become accredited, which is great, especially if your business makes donations to charities. You can see which ones are reputable and which ones maybe aren't providing the information for you. And then dispute resolution services as well. So if you ever have any issues with a business or a charity, and you're maybe not finding that resolution, we have a team that kind of works as that third party that talks to both sides and tries to help you find a resolution together.
I jumped the gun. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
So BBB has our 8 standards of trust, and a lot of these standards apply to everyday business, whether it is brick and mortar or online. So we're going to go into a few of the standards as they relate to protecting your online reputation and managing it and promoting yourself online. All right, just like I said, how do you apply BBB standards to your marketing strategies? I don't know if you want to pick that part up.
3 of the key standards of those ones that Melanie just showed you 2 slides ago are trust, honesty, and responsiveness. And throughout the next few slides, throughout our presentation, we're going to talk about ways that you can show that you're trustworthy, ways to provide that honesty to your consumers, and why responsiveness is so important. There's going to be a few different moments we're going to talk about those slides in particular, or those topics in particular.
Responsiveness is so critical.
Mm-hmm. You're going to get sick of us saying respond to people in the next 40 minutes or so.
I'm one of those people, like I just saw my work phone, I got a text, and as in my role at BBB, I'm the spokesperson. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if it's media. It's the DMV scam. So now I have an example of it, but being responsive is important, not only for us, but for businesses as well. So when you're getting started on your journey for online reputation management, the first thing you need to do is, and it sounds so cliche, but it's Google yourself. Google the company name, the name of the owner, any other names you might go by, just to see what people are saying. And it's just so important because you want to see this. I love this company. This is great. Love this product. 5 stars. You don't want to see this. And a lot of companies will somehow not realize what's going on. Then they'll call us and they'll say, how can I get rid of these negative reviews? And then I'll take a look and say, well, this review's from 3 years ago. Did you not know about this? No, I didn't know. And we recognize that a lot of companies are way too busy to be sitting at a computer. We always laugh about every time one of our reps makes a call to a business, like a check-in, how you doing? Are you using your benefits? Most of these guys are, I'm on a roof or I'm with a customer. So it's, not everybody's in front of a computer all day. So when they do have these questions, we want to be ready to help them with it. One of the biggest things that any business can do is make sure that their Google My Business page is completely updated, that it looks good, that all of your reviews are responded to. The thing that we find interesting, and Lauren, I know we just worked with a company the other day, not everybody knows they have this or that they can edit it. So you first want to do is you want to check to see if you have an account, or is there an auto-generated listing for your business because so many people were searching for it. And you want to make sure that your contact information is correct. I think the biggest issue we had with that company was the wrong phone number or the wrong address.
Phone number was when I spoke with her.
Yeah. And then she had a wrong address because she was trying to geolocate her business in the city of Rochester, and she was out on the outskirts of town. So she used one of her employees' houses. So she actually has 2 Google business profiles, which is a conundrum for me. I don't know how to get rid of that. So I was working with our business partner to fix that. So don't do that. Make sure you first have your account and then work on that account before you set up a new account, or else you're going to have a lot of confusion. You want to make sure your hours are right. A lot of businesses are operating under restricted hours, or they're closed, or they're just doing curbside, or they're only online. So you want to make sure that people know that your hours are correct. So for us, we are open from 8:30 to 4:30. We can take walk-ins as long as they have their masks on. But our building is open. So we make sure, as you can see on our profile, that it does indicate that. We have a picture of the building and logo, and it's funny because we were talking beforehand about the Chemung Chamber building and how a lot of people will walk in and not know what it is. I remember going on a chamber trip a few years ago, and I pulled up the Google listing to make sure the building matched the address, and it was, because it was such a beautiful old house. It was the Hornell, the Hornell Chamber of Commerce. I'm like, it can't be right. So it's really important to have that picture up there. So that's the first thing people see when they pull up to our building is that sign. So they'll see that sign, they'll say, oh, you know what, there it is. So it's really good idea to have a really good picture of your building. And then you can also share updates there, just like you can on any other social media. So this is an example of an update that Lauren had shared on our Google page, just to let people know what was going on. And we also have we have more Google reviews than that now. The thing with us, though, it's interesting. A lot of our Google reviews are about companies. So people think that they're going to Google to file a complaint or to get a resolution to a complaint they already filed. So that's kind of why our rating isn't the greatest. But if you go through it, we've answered every single review. We've let people know where they need to go to get either a resolution or to file a review.
Let me tack onto that real quick too. So it is free for you to do a Google My Business profile as well. And in that area where you can share posts, you can do COVID updates. They have a specific option to do just a COVID specific update to your profile. There's also events. So if you're having a webinar, if you're having a chamber event, if your business is providing some sort of community or business related function where people can come together, you can create an event page as well on your Google My Business profile. And again, it's all free to you. You just need to make sure you claim it. I saw someone, I think it was Emily, posted that unless your corporate company doesn't let you, unfortunately, that is kind of out of your hands then. But if you do have that option to control it, it's a great free resource that, again, everyone goes to Google when they start a search. So having that profile is very valuable.
You can also remind the corporate folks that they can do a lot of great stuff with it. Mm-hmm. That's always, something. It's the first thing that pops up next to, your listings and things like that. It's visual, so you really want to make it stand out. Mm-hmm. It's interesting when a company doesn't have one or it looks kind of incomplete. People judge on that stuff. They're like, well, wait a minute, maybe they're not really active or maybe they're closed. So you have to think about you as a consumer and then you as a business person. Like, how would you perceive that?
And Google's great too about reminding you. They'll send updates, especially if a holiday is coming up. Say, are your hours different? Make sure you update that. Or if you haven't posted a profile or something to your profile, or if your event is about to expire, they'll send you a reminder. Hey, don't forget that this post is about to expire if you want to post a new one. So that way you get those reminders in case it slips your mind to update it.
And they also send you like how many views you got, how many clicks you got. So it's kind of cool to see that, these posts do pretty well, that people are actually, beyond just glancing at your Google My Business page, they're actually digging into it and looking mm-hmm. at your content. So that's pretty cool as well. But, as we talked about, people, when they're on the internet, they're looking around and the first thing, your website is so important. A lot of people think websites are set it and forget it, and they're not. You have to constantly keep updating it, especially now. So, what is your message to your customers? Are you open? Are you curbside? Are you delivery? Are you by appointment only? Things they need to know. We have on bbb.org, we had a bubble at the top that says, because of the pandemic, we're operating under restricted hours and, complaint process is taking a little longer. So we were very upfront about what was going on, that everybody was working remotely, just so people wouldn't be, asking, well, where's my complaint? Where's this? Where's that? Because, and it was interesting. A lot of the complaints we mail or we email or we call, a lot of the mail wasn't getting picked up because businesses were closed. So, patience is always key. With the website, you want to make sure that all of your links work and that it's, that's my cat. I'm sorry. He has a sinus infection. You want to make sure that the links work. There's nothing more frustrating than clicking on a link on a website and getting like a 404 error or a page that doesn't exist. A lot of people will bounce after they see that. And 90% of searches start on a mobile device, whether it's a phone or a tablet. So you want to make sure your website's mobile friendly, that it's easy to read, easy to navigate. The security features up to date. I don't know if anybody uses Chrome, but if you're going to a website with an expired SSL tag, it warns you that the website may not be safe. You don't want that because people will be afraid. They're like, I don't want my information stolen. I don't know if I want to go there. So you want to make sure your security features are up to date and that everything is checked and you're green, your lock is green and it's not red. Grammar, spelling, really important. I see errors all the time and people judge based on that too. If it's a professional website, you want to make sure everything is spelled right, that all of the grammar is correct, and that it makes sense, that it's coherent. I know back in the day, I sound old now, back in the day when search engine optimization really became a thing, people were just putting SEO terms as descriptors for their websites. And that's no longer, Google figured out what everybody else figured out and stopped doing that. So if you have just like Elmira Plumber 24 hours as your description, that's not gonna help you at all. You want to make sure you have nice photos, that it's not all text heavy. Or I remember there was a business that was one of our home show vendors years ago. Their website was lime green. And I said out loud, my retinas are burning. You want to make sure that the color is soothing on your eyes, or that it's good for people who are colorblind as well. You want to make sure that it's not too dark or too light. If your photos are old or look dated, that's another thing that people look at. They want to make sure that whatever you're doing is current. Again, with colorblind ADA compliance, you want to make sure that if you have to have a translator, or if it has to be spoken out loud. Lauren, I know you've done a lot of seminars on this, so I always turn to you for the ADA compliance portion of the show.
I'm not an expert on it, but yes, I've learned a lot about ADA compliance. Make sure for those photos that you have on your website, and also adding on to the photos, make sure that they're not stock photos. People want to see real employees. They want to see real things that you're doing with your company, real work that you've provided. Stock photos kind of take away that trust for them. But going back to ADA compliance, on those photos, make sure that there is some alt text with it. So people, if they are blind, for example, and they're using a device to help them go through your website, when they come across that picture, it'll say, this is a photo of Melanie and Lauren giving a webinar, whatever it is that the picture is. And make sure it's not just picture number one, because that's not telling them what it is. Make sure that the colors, like Melanie said, have a contrast to them. There's some people who on their websites are using a lot of colors, but if the text and the background are similar colors to someone who's colorblind, they might not be able to read that. So keep that in mind. Make sure you go through a chart and see what colors can confuse colorblind people, or just stick to the regular black and white. This is easy to read. It's easy to comprehend. Another thing you can do too, if someone is blind, they use a reader where they tab through the different parts of your website. So go through, hit the tab button, and make sure all of your links that are available to the consumer that's checking it, that if you click that tab button, it goes to every single link that's available on your website. Because if it skips over one, that's a whole page that maybe they went to your website for and they're not able to access. There's a lot of information about ADA compliance though online. So if this is something that you haven't really thought of before, I highly recommend that you go through it, or have someone who understands ADA compliance go through your website and let you know what you might be missing, because that's consumers that you might be losing because they can't go through your website and get that information.
Absolutely. And last on the website, make sure that your social media accounts are connected. I always kind of cringe when I see somebody still has their Google Plus icon up. Make sure you remove any social media accounts you're not using. Just because there's all these platforms doesn't mean you need to be there. And Lauren's going to talk about that. If you don't use Snapchat, don't have an icon up for it.
And don't connect it
make
to
sure
your
your former
personal
employees
page
don't have
either.
access to your social media pages. That's really critical. I know I have a friend who works at a school, and their marketing director who got fired was the only person who had access to their Facebook page. Make sure multiple people have access, but it's the right people. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
I was going to say, make sure it doesn't connect to your personal page either.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I've seen that a lot too, where I'll click on a button to say it's to their LinkedIn, and it'll connect to their personal LinkedIn instead of it being their business LinkedIn, or their personal Instagram instead of it being their business Instagram. So pay attention to which profiles you connect it to.
That's a really good point. I never really thought about that. Um, yeah, because not everybody wants to see pictures of your cat, but everybody wants to see pictures of my cat. So if you go to my Instagram, that's what you'll see. Now we're gonna talk about online directories now. There's so many of them, and the big ones are Yelp, Google, Facebook, BBB, all of the Yellow Page directories. There's so many directories out there. It would behoove you to take the time to make sure that your business is listed appropriately, because a lot of times what these directories are doing is just pulling data off the internet and then putting it together. I can't tell you how many times I've seen us listed as BBB of Western New York back in the day. And I know Lauren's going to scold me. I've got like maybe 5 more chambers to go through to make sure all of our listings are the same. But you want to make sure your information's updated. If you have a new phone number, if you have a new email address, things like that, you want to make sure that people know where they need to go. If you belong to member organizations, if you are a member of the chamber, make sure that your chamber directory is updated. And if they give you opportunities for updates and photos and things like that, take them. It's another great place to have people find your business. We are running a program right now with our accredited businesses called the BBB Help Center. And we are taking the information that's on the BBB directory and then comparing it to other directories. And we're finding a lot of issues with some businesses. So they're like, well, my BBB directory should be fine. And there was a gentleman in, I think it was Liverpool, and he's like, oh, I changed my phone number 4 years ago. You've had the wrong phone number on your BBB profile for 4 years. So, again, if you change phone numbers, make sure you go online, check all the directories, make sure that everything matches, because people do look at that as well. And if they're searching for you by this old phone number and they only see one website pop up, they're going to wonder if you're even a legitimate company. But if they see all of these directories popping up and the Google profile, then they'll know, okay, let's keep going. Let's take a look and see if we want to use that business. I'm going to touch on email marketing real quick. I know a lot of us do it. We do it. We are very strategic with it because we don't want people ignoring us or just saying, oh, here comes another email from BBB. It's important to keep it connected to your customers right now, especially since a lot of businesses are still on, I keep saying restricted hours, shortened hours, different hours. Let people know when you're open, if you have any specials, things like that. If you're, changing the operating hours, if you're not going to be open on Mondays anymore, if there's a new way to reach you, definitely let them know that kind of stuff, and make sure you put it in the subject so they know, hey, this is important. I need to open this. Great time to ask them to follow you on social media or to write a review for your business. A lot of people are still home and may have the time to do that. But number one, beware of email fatigue. A lot of times I will open my personal email and just start delete until I see, hey, I haven't engaged with them in a while. But you don't want to be the person who emails every day and just sends just something to send. You want to make sure whatever you're sending, it's really good content and it's information that people are going to need. I'm going to turn it over to Lauren to talk about customer reviews now.
All right, customer reviews are very important, especially now in a time of COVID. People are a little bit more distrusting, or they're being a little bit more strategic in the businesses that they're working with. A lot of people are online more often too, because you're working from home, you're on your computer more often. So people are looking for those people who are trustworthy. And a lot of people look at those customer reviews to help them make their decision, not just at the website or the social media accounts that are out there for that company. There's a quote that I found that I feel like is super fitting for this as well. Who are you more likely to trust? A salesperson who will profit from your purchase, or a customer who has experience with the product you're considering and can give you an honest review? Think about how often you yourself look at those reviews, or maybe ask friends or family for those recommendations. You're taking that into account almost more than you are just reading the information on a website or in a newsletter, brochure, whatever it may be. So don't be afraid to ask for those reviews. Like we said in that email section of this presentation, consumers consult at least 10 sources before making a purchase. 82% of consumers read online reviews of local businesses. 48% of consumers only pay attention to reviews written in the last 2 weeks. So it's very important to have those new and fresh reviews available for them to see, not just one from 2 or 3 years ago, especially during the pandemic. Again, because things are a lot different now. The way that you're working might be a little bit different now. So people want to see that you've adapted to the change well and that you're still responding positively to consumers. And a positive reputation online helps customers trust businesses, convert searches into leads, and boost your local search rankings.
You know, it's interesting in terms of customer reviews, something that I've found with just people in my circle. They will go online and search for recent reviews because they want to know about COVID protocols, what people's experiences are before they leave the house. A lot of people are still nervous about leaving the house. So they're looking for those reviews to say, okay, they had hand sanitizer at the door, everybody was wearing masks, things like that. So if you can take the time to ask your customers for reviews who've been, in your store, in your place of business in the last month, now's a really good time to do that because a lot of people are hesitant, again, to leave the house if they have to. So if they're reading positive reviews, like felt really safe, things like that, they're more likely to leave the house and come patronize your business.
Be responsive. It's so important. Like I said, we're going to say it numerous times throughout this webinar, but you want to make sure you can go back one, Melanie. You want to make sure that, like Melanie said earlier with the Google reviews, no matter where those reviews are popping up for you, if it's on Yelp, if it's on Facebook, if it's on Google, your BBB business profile, you want to make sure you're responding to those. Because just as important as it is to have those reviews come to your profile so that consumers know what a real customer experience is like, you want to make sure that you leave that response because they're looking to see how the business is going to react to it. So if it's a good review, make sure you say thank you for leaving this review. We appreciate your business and hope to see you again soon. Something short and sweet. If it's a negative review, people care to see how you're going to react to that, even more important, because that negative review, they might read it and be like, oh, do I still want to work with this company? And then they can see, oh, that business was saying, oh, we're sorry for that experience. If you would give us a call, we'd be happy to talk with you about what we can do better or try and make an adjustment and help fix that situation that you just went through. So that might turn the person then positive again and be like, oh, even though they have that negative review on their profile, they responded to it really well. They're willing to work with that consumer. And I like that they're willing to work with them. So even though they have that negative review, I'm still willing to give them my business because of how they responded. Okay, so for social media, you can target your audience as well. So you can figure out who your target audience is first. So talk with your marketing team, maybe talk with your employees, see what specific audience it is that you want to reach. Do you want to reach a broad audience? Does it maybe not matter what their age is? Are you trying to target millennials? Are you trying to target a senior population, depending on what your business focuses on? Then figure out where you can find them. So there's different profiles there's different groups of people who go to social media. So Facebook, for example, is maybe that not older, I shouldn't say, but middle-aged to senior population that are on there. Instagram is a younger group. A lot of millennials are on Instagram. And then advertise to them. So once you figure out what your target audience is, where they are online, then target your ads to them by boosting posts. Try and get it narrowed down specifically maybe to your area, some interests that people may have. Share visual posts with them as well. People are more prone to look at a post if there is a visual, like a video or photos, product images. And then update your stories and reels, especially now I feel like every platform has an opportunity to do a story. So don't be afraid to post on there, especially if you have a special for the day, if you're a restaurant, if you have a sale going on, any major exciting news that's going on with your business. Say you just won an award or an employee got a certification, something that you want to share, but maybe you don't want to have it stay on your profile. The story will allow you to leave it up there for 24 hours and you can get that information out to them in that manner as well.
I find the first thing I look at on every platform is the stories and the reels, more than just the typical scrolling through everything. So that's a really good idea to update that first.
And if you go live, which we're going to talk about in a little bit too, it notifies everybody. Actually, that's the first thing that's on this one. It notifies everybody that you are going live. I know on Instagram it does it, Facebook I tend to see it. I don't believe they have that feature necessarily on other platforms just yet that you're about to go live. TikTok I know does it too. So that's a great way.
LinkedIn does, but there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through to do it.
Well, does it give that notification that you're going live now? Yeah,
Yep.
cool.
I've ended up in some interesting presentations because I saw a LinkedIn notification that like a brand that I follow was going live. I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll
cool.
watch this for a few minutes. So yeah, it definitely does.
So that's also that brand awareness for people. They see your name pop up. So even if you don't watch the video, it's that reminder that your business exists, that you're doing something, you're trying to give information out to consumers and to the community. Don't be afraid to hold events like a Q&A on your live as well. Melanie and I typically go live every Tuesday. Sometimes it doesn't happen depending on what's going on in our schedules or if there's a major holiday, for example. But we hold a Q&A every week. We let consumers ask us questions or business owners ask us questions if they have any. Sometimes there's a special guest that comes on too. So a Q&A is a great way for you to answer those immediate questions for consumers. Be authentic too. People don't want to feel like you're putting on an act just to try and get people to come to you. They want to see real people that they would be more willing to engage with and communicate with. When you go live, save those videos too, because you can cut them up and use them for future posts down the line. Maybe if you're making a reel or you're making a video to put on your YouTube channel, whatever comes up in your future marketing plans, you can use those clips from your live Q&As. Watch your lighting. I don't know if any of you were on when I decided to put on my ring light, but my face was a little bit dark when I first signed on. So make sure you check your lighting before you go live. Check your surrounding sound. So know that on a day like today where maybe it's snowing, that you're not going to have your next door neighbor, if you're working from home, all of a sudden start snow plowing their driveway and you're going to hear that loud noise when you planned on going live. Or if it's the summer that you don't have someone going and cutting the grass. I know that's happened a couple of times with me and Melanie when we're in the office, when it's a not COVID world. We had a lawn company going by our window and it was super, super loud. So pay attention to your surroundings, silence your phone too. Make sure when you're presenting, you're not going to have those dings in the background. So plan ahead, check in with the people around you before, let them know that you're going to be giving a presentation at a specific time. So hopefully you don't have those interruptions. With videos, 500 million people a day view stories on Facebook and Messenger, and 500 million more view videos on Instagram. So video is a huge thing right now. People are watching them. I know for ours, we specifically put captions in them too. So again, thinking about those who maybe can't hear, having those captions is a huge help so that people, no matter what they're doing, can see what the video is about. And that's great too if someone possibly can't be listening to the audio if they're in an office setting, for example, and they still want to see what's going on in the video. With the volume off, they can still see the message that you're portraying through your video. Encourage fans to tag you in their videos as well. So say you own a store and you want people to send you a picture or a video of them talking about what they bought at the store. That's the first thing that came to mind for me. Encourage them to tag you in it because then their followers will have an opportunity to view your profile from there if they maybe like the sweater that you're wearing. And then if you're on TikTok, fans can duet your video too. So if you have that option, if you have that profile, click on allow duet. It says something along those lines. And then they can have your video playing beside their video, which is really fun and different. How video helps, there's a few statistics I'm going to throw by you. These are all between last year, 2020, and then this year. 82% of people prefer live video from a brand over standard social media posts. So again, they like that live content, they like that authenticity and seeing who you are and what you're all about. And again, that frequent update, letting people know what's happening during this pandemic. 67% of audience who watch a live stream event will purchase a ticket to a similar event. So again, it's getting people more excited about what you provide to them. 80% of people would rather watch a live video from a brand than read a blog because, again, it gives them that personal feel. It gives them a little bit more of that connection and that authenticity. And marketers who use video have 49% faster revenue growth compared to non-video users because people like seeing people. They like engaging with them. Have a contest too. That's a huge thing right now, especially on Instagram. I feel like I see it constantly when I'm scrolling through my feed. Have some sort of contest. Maybe you can even do a co-contest with another company, collaborate with them, have their audience then get to know your audience and vice versa. It's a great way to expand your brand, maybe get new followers, have your own specific hashtag, which I'll talk about in a little bit too. We've done this with BBB a few times. A couple of times were for our accredited businesses specifically, encouraging them to share pictures about using their logo, how they're letting people know that they're trustworthy, letting them know that they're accredited, what they're doing in the community during the pandemic, or even just have a contest where you have a swag bag of different merchandise. We did that too, where we had like a BBB water bottle, face masks, hand sanitizer with our logo. And then the winner, they had all this product with our logo on it. So now when they're out in the community, people are seeing our brand. And then we also offered a gift card as well, in case people didn't want that water bottle. I saw you just unmuted yourself. Do you have anything you want to add, Melanie?
No, it was just really cool because Lauren and I both have access to our Instagram, and just watching all of the alerts come through of so-and-so tagged you in a post, so-and-so did this and that. And I'm like, wow, it really does work. Once you get like one person who's got a lot of followers to start, mentioning you or doing it, it's amazing what can happen. So, just a personal, testimonial, I guess, that, we've seen it, and it is great to build engagement, especially on Instagram. For the first like 2 years we did Instagram, it was just other BBBs following us. Now I feel like we have more of a real, like our accredited businesses and people in the community are really looking to us for information. So, hats off to Lauren for this contest idea, because it really did work.
Thanks.
And we still have all those followers.
Make sure too, if you are holding a contest, that you put the rules right in the post. All the social media sites ask for that. So consumers, obviously they should know that it's just the business holding it, but that way they don't hold Facebook or Twitter, wherever, accountable for the outcome of the contest. So lay out all the rules so people understand what's going on with it, the criteria that they need to meet, how long it's going to be, when the winner is going to be announced. And don't forget to promote that contest too. If you're sending out an email, let people know, hey, we're having this contest, and it'll hopefully get them to your social accounts too. So market it in different ways. Another great example of ways that you can share what you're doing on social media, show people how you're giving back to your community, especially in a time like now. People want to see what you're doing for them, what you're doing for the people around you. So don't be afraid to say, hey, we just made a huge donation to our local animal shelter or the local food pantry, or we're cleaning up this park, and have a picture of maybe you at there showing you, and obviously like your face mask and taking those precautions. But people like seeing you give back, because seeing you give back to their community might make that decision for them on why they're going to go with you for their business versus another company that maybe isn't sharing what they're doing for the community. So people like seeing people give back.
Sorry, the cat is just breathing so heavy. I keep looking at him, but he's just laying there.
I just noticed all of these say one. We'll have to fix that.
Oh, they do. Well,
They're all
all
number
important.
one.
They're all number one. So we just wanted to quickly review the easy ways to manage your reputation online. Keep your social media up to date. I actually had a conversation with a business the other day. She hadn't posted on Facebook since 2013. Ugh. People look at that. So even if it's just like a hello or hey, we're open today, that's perfect. Engage with your customers and your potential customers. Respond to all reviews, good and bad. Update directory listings, get listed on directories where you have no listing. Make sure you're monitoring yourself. We didn't talk about that real quick, but you can set up Google alerts for your company name. the name of your president. I have 7 different Google alerts for our Better Business Bureau alone, to make sure that if I'm not missing anything. There's some free review monitoring sites out there as well that you can use. Respond to voicemails, emails, and contact forms. Like I always use this example. When we first bought our house, I was doing a little A/B testing on my own with contact forms and emails when we were hiring contractors to do some work. And there's nothing more frustrating when you're calling somebody and their voicemail's full. You just lost a customer. So make sure you're cleaning out that voicemail, even if it's an auto response to email or an auto response to a contact form, people are getting that contact. So make sure that you're doing all of that stuff so you're not losing out on potential customers. Make sure you're monitoring your website, social media, and other places for daily comments or reviews. And don't forget to respond. We should just call this presentation Respond. One of my favorites is Become an Expert. Especially if you have like a very niche industry where you can just maybe jump on, turn your phone on, flip it over, go live and start talking about something in your industry on your Facebook or your social media pages. That's always awesome. And then people will share it. My favorite is there was a time-lapsed video of a pool installation that one of our accredited businesses did. And I just thought that was so super cool. As Lauren said, get involved with your community and outside activities. And this is a big one, think before acting. I know there's just so much divisiveness on social media between what went on with the election and what's going on with the vaccine and the pandemic. Remember that you are your business. You are, even if you're on your personal profile, I mean, there are a lot of times where I'm sitting there like, but I'm Melanie McGovern from the Better Business Bureau. I can't comment. So you really want to think before you write some kind of comment that could either, hurt your business, hurt yourself, possibly get you fired. I know sometimes it's hard to do that, but you really have to think before you act. And remember, screenshots are real and people can take pictures of it. Even if you go back and delete it later, there might be evidence of it somewhere. So just really, really think before you act. And I always tell, especially when I was doing the student program, I would say to the kids, would you call your grandmother and tell them that? Well, my grandmother, but anyway. Lauren's going to wrap us up with the social media reminders.
There are headers that are on a lot of your, it's okay. There's a lot of headers on social media. I just updated ours yesterday, but it's a great way to promote different things that are happening. So for example, we had a Torch Award for Ethics that was open for applications from December 1st up until this past Monday. So I had it right in our header. Don't forget to apply for the award. And then on Facebook, for example, there's a button that's right underneath it where people could click to learn more, and it took them to the website to learn about the Torch Awards. So the header photo is a great way for you to promote what's happening right now. So if there's an event that you're hosting, maybe put that in the header. Or if you have just a great picture from something with your business, have that in your header. It's the first thing people see when they're on your profile. So make it something that they can engage with, or something that's going to resonate with them, that's going to make them want to come back to your profile. And again, add links to that Learn More button on Facebook, or they have a bunch of different options. It could say, I think, register. It could say like buy now if there's a product that you're promoting, something of that nature. Pin your important posts to the top of your profile. You can do that on a lot of different social media accounts. So if you have a sale that's happening for a week straight, or there's an animal shelter, for example, I'm hoping to get a puppy very soon, but I keep going to, and they have their current adoptable pets pinned to the top of their profile, so people don't have to keep scrolling back to see maybe where that dog was, but have that important information as that top post for them. Pay attention to the times that your audience is paying attention. So look back at your accounts, see when people are logging on, what that time frame, what the most popular time frame is that they're using that platform. So you could be like, oh, on Instagram, we have a lot of people logging on at, say, 6 o'clock. So maybe schedule your top post for that day at 6 o'clock, where maybe on Facebook, you'll see, oh, we have more people that are on at 11 a.m. So have your post go up at 11 a.m. Use hashtags as well. It's a great way to get you involved in a conversation, or like I said, for your contest, if you have a specific hashtag for that contest, you can just click on that hashtag and see all the people who are participating. But make sure you know what that hashtag is for, especially if it's not one that you created on your own for your company. So you don't want to just jump on a hashtag because it's popular right now and people are going to be searching it, because you don't want to have your business improperly be connected to something that's maybe going to turn people off in the end from wanting to work with you. Look at what your competitors are doing, see what's working well for them, or maybe something that didn't quite go that great for them, and then apply both of those, the good and the bad, to your business strategy for when you promote your business online. Create a calendar to help you keep up. I have one for every month of what I'm posting on what day, if I need to create anything, if I have something already that I can post, and then maybe what time you want to share that on, and then if you scheduled it or not. Pre-scheduling is great. But in instances, for example, when the pandemic first hit, I then went back to my calendar and said, okay, what do I need to change now that's pre-scheduled on our social media? Can I push that to another date, another time? So that calendar can kind of help you keep organized, especially when something big happens.
I like to call that the day Lauren's head exploded. When we were like, we have to unschedule all the social media. And you're like, what? Well, we also had emails scheduled on triggers and funnels, and everything was like perfect. And I just had to shut everything down because, again, you don't want to look tone deaf.
Do an annual social media audit too. So go through, see what your top posts were for that year, what maybe your least performing posts were, and then make that change in your plan for the following year. So we just kind of looked at our 2020 numbers, and I saw, okay, well, our engagement went down a little bit on a couple of different platforms. So what did I do that maybe didn't respond well with consumers, and how can I tweak that for 2021 to help us get those numbers back up? Mind you, the pandemic, you can't really compare your 2020 to your 2019 at all. Every social media webinar I've gone on has said that. So don't let it hurt you too much this year, but it's still a great opportunity for you to do that audit and see, okay, what are people looking at now in this COVID world? And again, respond to the people who are reacting or who are commenting, who are leaving reviews. We haven't actually talked about comments. If people are leaving comments, give it a like, leave a comment under their comment and say, hey, thank you, we appreciate your business, or thanks for letting us know you love that product. Or if you want to buy this product, here's a link that can get you there, and give them that call to action. But respond, it's so important.
All right. Just a couple of things. Make sure you know what's going on with everything with the pandemic. The FTC is issuing warnings constantly about fraudulent products or different things like that. We issued a warning this week that people shouldn't share their vaccine card in selfies on Facebook. There's so much. The CDC, the local county health departments, Empire State Development Corp has a lot of really good information for businesses, and the U.S. Small Business Administration as well. And we can get this slide over to you guys with all those links in there. And again, just maintain that positive reputation. We're all frustrated with the zones and everything like that, but it doesn't help to complain about it on social media. Just maintain that positive reputation, because you never know which way somebody's going when they come to look at your page and they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to go there. And just be honest, don't make inflammatory statements. Make sure that you let people know you're following public health protocols. And, if you're not open, let people know. Don't let them show up and say, wait a minute, I thought they were open today. So just be honest about things, especially with, we can only have 4 people in the building at a time, things like that. Make sure you're letting people know all those things. I think that's it. We've got a lot of small business tips at bbb.org/smallbusiness. bbb.org, if you go to the page and you scroll down, that's the news section that has all of the consumer alerts and all the content that people are looking for. This email goes right to my inbox. So if it's for me or Lauren, I'll be able to get it to her. Do we have any questions? I haven't been able to mouse up to take a look yet.
I just realized I left something out about the pin post too. So before we go to questions, I just want to make sure I address this. If you do have a pinned post and it goes and it's outdated, or even your header picture and all of a sudden it's outdated, make sure you put a reminder in your calendar, going back to the calendar, to go back and update all of those so you remember, okay, this is over now. I don't want to have outdated information on that profile. So just make sure you go back and tweak that when the time is done.
You know, it's interesting on LinkedIn, we have 2 webinars coming up, so I created LinkedIn events. It took the header from the Torch Award. So when I went in there today, I had to go and manually change it. It didn't automatically update. So make sure that, you know, you're making sure that everything changed. I didn't do that, and I almost sent it out to our businesses with that old header on there. So,
In
yeah,
your
it was-
defense, I think you created those on Monday and I changed the header yesterday.
yeah,
But
yeah.
kudos
No,
to
I
you
just
for going
figured, I
back.
figured it would automatically change. So, you know, shame on LinkedIn, but it was, you know, I just pulled the file that you had for the header and put it in there, and now everything's fixed. And, but yeah, double check and sweat the details.
Mhm.
No detail is too small to sweat.
All right, any questions?
Hi, ladies. Kit
Hello.
Bouchard.
Hi.
Hi there. Lighthouse Liquors and Wines of Southport and Bulkhead Hardware. So I'm booze and bolts girl. Lighthouse has been very active with social media and Facebook and email and all that kind of stuff. And I guess my question is, and I have helped doing a lot of this stuff because I could never do all of this by myself.
Mhm.
You talk about the times that people are engaged. Is that something that, like on Facebook, I can go to the analytics part and it will give me the times that they're engaged?
Yep, if you go to that and go to audience, you can learn a lot of information about what your audience is up to there. So it
Okay.
breaks it down to like even if men are more on it versus women, what day of the week pops up as well, what area they're from. So yeah, if you go to the insights or analytics, that usually helps you figure that out.
Okay. And thank you. Lots of
You're welcome.
great reminders, but also things that I've kind of put on the back burner because time-wise, you know, it's absolutely crazy. And with COVID, just trying to navigate through everything, a lot of times where, you know, I need to go back in and check all the Google listings. And that's a great reminder because that was on my things to do like last February. And then everything broke loose and I don't think I ever did it. I'm pretty sure I never did it. So good reminders on that kind of thing. Still a little nervous about if I could do TikTok. I do live video, but I'm still not sure I'm there at 48.
Well, you don't have to be on TikTok if you feel like it's something that would benefit your business. If you feel like it's a great asset for maybe targeting a different group of people, absolutely. But if not, don't feel like you have to. Go to one profile that you feel like this is your strongest bet on reaching the people you want to reach, and put all your time and energy into there, especially if you are a one-woman show, because that can be difficult. So
well, I do think that TikTok would engage some of that younger generation that we're starting to see. So it could be an every once in a while. And I have one of my crew members, Roger, is awesome at this kind of stuff, and he owns a DJ business and he's very animated. So I'm sure we could pull it off.
oh yeah. That brings up a great point too. Don't be afraid to, if you feel like you can't do it all on your own, don't be afraid to see if there's an employee that might be interested. There might be someone who actually has that social media background or is just very good on social media that could take care of it for you. Just again, make sure that you have access to it as well. So if that employee leaves, you can kick them off of it and make sure that they can't get in, or at least change the password so that they don't have access anymore.
Right. So thank you, ladies. I think that's all my questions.
Great. Touching on TikTok again too, if it's something that you want to explore, I know myself, I've just been browsing it to see what people are posting. See what your competitors are doing, or see, even if they're not local, see what national brands are doing and what's working for them, and then maybe find ways that you can incorporate that into your own. So do a little bit of research before you just jump on and start posting. See what's working for other people. Any other questions?
I
Guess
don't have
not.
this is can't what chamber here, but I just wanted to make a mention of the chamber membership referees. And you guys had mentioned that earlier, just to give all of our members a reminder, make sure you update your profile with as much information as you can. You can add, YouTube links, LinkedIn, all of the profiles. You can go on and update that information. And have your referee list of the chamber, it's as full as possible. And another reminder, if anything changes, if you move, if your phone number changes, you update your website, either get online to your chamber profile and go ahead and make that update yourself, or just reach out to someone at the chamber, call us, email, and we can get the information updated.
Yeah, if you are not a BBB accredited business, you can have a profile on bbb.org. You just need to fill out our standard business questionnaire. It's not an application for accreditation. So if anybody's interested in that, you guys can shoot us an email and we can get you that information, because you don't have to be BBB accredited to be listed. So, let us know if you want a listing, or if you have a listing and you're not sure what you can put on there, just reach out to us and we'll let you know. Yeah, I will send out it's updateyourinfo.org.
And what
I'm putting it in the chat right now.
I'll send out an email to all of the participants who registered for the webinar today with the link to the recording from today's session. I'll also include the presentation that has the link to the other links that you had mentioned. And I'll include both you, Lauren, and Melanie on that email, so everyone has your contact information from there if they have any questions.
Perfect.
Yeah, but you can't have the fancy profile like the accredited businesses. You can't put like videos and pictures and your logo on it. You can just have a plain, straight up listing.
But at least your business is listed somewhere
Right.
new. And if anyone feels overwhelmed, like, oh, wow, we're missing a lot of this stuff, we haven't really been keeping up with it, start with one and then go from there. Figure out what it is that this is going to be the big impact that's going to really help right now, and then go from there. Don't feel like you're obligated to do everything just now. Even us, we still are looking at ways to improve and still find ways, like Melanie mentioned earlier, on different chamber websites, our numbers and emails and whatnot were a little bit different. So we just went through and cleaned all of that up. So do it in steps, figure it out, come up with a plan and go from there. And then don't feel like you need to do it all at once.
Right. Yeah. Don't schedule like a whole afternoon, because by the 15th website you're on, you're going to pull your hair out.
What do you have to do to become an accredited BBB member or listing?
Well, we can have somebody reach out to you if you want to chat us your phone number. There's an application process. There's a vetting process. We make sure that you have all of your licensing, that you've been in business for more than 6 months, that you're passing all of our standards. And there's a accreditation fee, which pays for programming like this in the community. And then you get your listing on bbb.org and all the other great benefits.
And like Melanie mentioned earlier too, with our accredited businesses, we launched that business help center. So then you'd have those emails coming in too, letting you know if your phone number is different on different websites, or if just if there's any errors, if there's any links that maybe don't work, those would go to. So that's a great new benefit for accredited businesses. That's included with your accreditation.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, if you could put your contact info in the chat box, we'll have somebody reach out to you today.
And again, I can connect everybody
Okay.
later on today too,
Perfect.
if that works, and then
Sounds good.
we can go from there. So, just in case the chat disappears before somebody gets to
I got it.
pull the information.
If any questions do pop up after today, or say 2 weeks from now, and you're like, oh, what was it that they said about this? Melanie and I are both on all of our social media accounts. If you forget our email, that's an easy way to reach us if you can't figure out how to reach us. So go to BBB of Upstate New York, make sure it's the Upstate one. and shoot us a message on there because we both have access to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So if you send a private message through one of those, we'd be able to respond to you through that.
Absolutely.
But thanks
All
for having us. This was fun.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, this was a great presentation. You both did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for putting this on for our members and the business community as a whole. Again, I'll send everything out to everyone with the recording from today's session, along with any of the other links that we had talked about today. If anyone is on this who is not a member and you're interested in chamber membership, you can always contact the chamber at info@chamoungchamber.org or give us a call at 607-734-5137. But other than that, I'd just like to give another thank you to Lauren and Melanie for joining us today and for your presentation, and everyone for joining us, and reach the chamber if there's anything we can do for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.